Most people think of colon cancer as something that just happens when you get older. It's almost treated like an unlucky roll of the genetic dice. But what if that's not the full picture? What if your colon has its own powerful built-in defense system, one that quietly works around the clock to protect you, unless it's disrupted by the wrong foods, habits, or timing? Here's something rarely discussed. Your colon isn't just a passive pipe where waste moves through. It's alive. It's immunologically rich. It hosts trillions of bacteria that aren't just along for the ride, they're participating in your protection. These microbes produce compounds that fight inflammation, regulate your immune system, and even help break down potential carcinogens, but only if you give them the right environment. And this environment is shaped every day by simple things: when you eat, how you sleep, how much fiber you're actually fermenting, not just consuming. The colon's health is less about one-time cleanses or random fiber supplements, and more about daily rhythm, microbial balance, cellular repair, mucosal protection. These aren't just technical terms, they're the difference between inflammation that simmers silently for years and a colon that stays calm, resilient, and self-healing. This matters deeply, especially as we age. Colon cancer risk increases after 50, but aging doesn't cause the disease. It simply amplifies any long-term imbalances we haven't corrected. Slower transit time, reduced stomach acid, impaired methylation, decreased movement, all of these can make the colon more vulnerable, but they can also be reversed, supported, optimized. The mainstream approach often narrows this conversation to colonoscopies and early detection. Important, yes, but not enough. Detection isn't the same as prevention, and prevention isn't a mystery. It's physiology. It's understanding how bile flow detoxifies the gut, how intermittent fasting gives the colon time to repair, how nutrients like magnesium, folate, and butyrate feed the exact cells that protect your inner lining from mutation. And yes, there are very specific research-backed actions you can take right now. Some are as simple as how you combine your fats and fibers. Others involve timing your meals to support circadian gene expression in your gut lining. None of this requires fear. None of it involves synthetic drugs. It's about restoring what your body already knows how to do. In this video, you'll discover 6 powerful science-based principles that can help you lower your risk of colon cancer naturally. We'll talk about the foods that nourish your gut's protective barrier, the eating patterns that stimulate cellular cleanup, and the often overlooked lifestyle tweaks like sunlight exposure and fermented foods that can activate powerful colon-supporting processes you've likely never heard explained this way before. Your body is designed to heal itself. Your colon is designed to defend itself. And once you understand what's actually going on in there, down to the microscopic decisions being made every day by your cells and microbes, you'll stop fighting your body. You'll start supporting it. That's where true prevention begins. If you care about sleeping deeper, healing faster, and aging with energy, make sure to watch until the end and subscribe so you don't miss the natural wisdom your body is craving. Let's begin with something almost no one explains clearly. Not all fiber is created equal. You've probably heard you need more fiber to prevent colon cancer, but what kind of fiber? And what exactly does it do inside your colon? What's happening in your body is far more intelligent than simply pushing waste through. Inside your large intestine, there's a thriving ecosystem of microbes, trillions of bacteria that are living, adapting, and communicating with your immune system every second. These microbes aren't just residents, they're allies. They create compounds that literally protect your DNA, calm inflammation, and support the repair of your colon lining. But they can only do that when they're fed the right kind of food. That food is fermentable fiber, also called soluble fiber. Unlike insoluble fiber, which acts like a broom, sweeping things along, soluble fiber dissolves in water and becomes a soft gel. It lingers, it slows digestion slightly, which is a good thing because that gives your microbes time to break it down. And when they break it down, they produce something extraordinary, short-chain fatty acids. Chief among them is butyrate. Butyrate is like gold for your colon. It feeds the very cells that line your large intestine, called colonocytes. These cells rely on butyrate more than glucose. When they're fueled properly, they form a tight barrier that keeps toxins out and nutrients in. But when they're starved, either from a low-fiber diet or too much sugar and processed food, this barrier weakens. Tiny holes form. Inflammation leaks in. Mutations can begin. Now here's the empowering part. You can change your butyrate production in just a few days, simply by changing what's on your plate. Cooked vegetables like leeks, turnips, and asparagus are high in fermentable fiber, so are chia seeds, avocado, green bananas, and a small portion of cooled cooked rice. These are not just healthy foods, they are microbiome medicine. In fact, studies show that people who consume high levels of fermentable fiber have significantly lower rates of colorectal cancer. The mechanism is direct: more fiber, more butyrate, stronger immunity, lower inflammation, healthier DNA regulation. This isn't a vague benefit, it's a targeted biochemical defense system. Unfortunately, many seniors shift to low-fiber diets without realizing it. Processed protein shakes, white toast, crackers, and even some digestive supplements are missing the raw materials the microbiome needs to protect you. And while fiber supplements like psyllium can be helpful for motility, they don't produce butyrate as effectively as real food. One practical protocol that works beautifully for seniors is what I call the evening fiber window. This means eating your most fiber-rich foods with your dinner: steamed broccoli with olive oil, sautéed leafy greens, or a chia flax mix with a bit of cinnamon. Why dinner? Because your colon activity increases during your nighttime digestive rhythm. Feeding your microbes in the evening gives them material to ferment overnight, while your body rests and repairs. And if digestion is a concern, remember this: fiber doesn't have to be raw. In fact, cooking your vegetables can make them more accessible to the microbes while being gentler on your stomach. Think warm zucchini with garlic, not cold kale salad. So the takeaway is simple but profound. Your colon has built-in defenders. They're microscopic, they're tireless, but they depend on you to feed them what they need. When you shift to soluble, fermentable fibers, you activate a healing cascade that nourishes your colon lining, calms your immune system, and lowers your risk of dangerous mutations naturally. If this is helping you see health differently, tap the like button. It helps us reach more people who need this. And subscribe if you haven't already, because we're just getting started. Now that you understand how feeding your microbiome can protect your colon, let's talk about the other half of the equation: giving it time to rest. One of the most powerful ways to support colon health has nothing to do with eating at all. It's what happens when you stop. Your body is not designed to be in a constant state of digestion. Every time you eat, your body shifts energy toward breaking down food. But when you go without food for several hours, what's called a fasting window, your body shifts into a completely different mode: repair. What's happening in your body during that quiet window is something called autophagy. It's a natural process that literally means self-eating, but not in a harmful way. It's your body's way of cleaning house. Old damaged cells get broken down, faulty proteins and mutated DNA fragments are removed. This includes in the colon lining, where rapid cell turnover makes it a prime site for wear and tear. You see, your colon lining regenerates itself every few days. But if there's constant food intake, especially processed foods high in sugar and low in fiber, this repair gets delayed. Inflammation builds, damaged cells can accumulate, and this is how precancerous changes begin. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, over time. Intermittent fasting helps prevent that. It gives your gut lining time to renew without the stress of constant processing. It also strengthens a process called immune surveillance, where your body identifies and clears out abnormal cells before they grow into a problem. One study from the journal Cell Metabolism showed that fasting triggers an increase in intestinal stem cell activity. These are the master cells responsible for creating new healthy lining tissue in the gut. With age, stem cell activity declines, but fasting has been shown to restore it, even in older adults. That's real regeneration. Here's where this gets practical. You don't need to starve yourself. Even a 14-hour overnight fast, say from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 a.m., can be enough to activate these healing mechanisms. During that time, your insulin stays low, your digestive organs get a break, and autophagy begins its quiet cleanup. Your colon, like every part of your body, thrives on rhythm, feeding and fasting, activity and rest. Many people worry that skipping breakfast might cause energy crashes, but what often causes those crashes is not fasting, it's unstable blood sugar from poor quality meals. When your body becomes fat adapted, meaning it can burn stored fuel efficiently, you'll find more mental clarity, more stable energy, and better digestive regularity. And that includes more consistent bowel movements, which is essential for colon detoxification. One small but powerful tip: avoid eating late at night. Nighttime eating not only interrupts your fast, it also disrupts melatonin and digestive hormones, confusing your gut's circadian clock. Your colon lining does most of its repair while you sleep. If you're digesting a heavy meal during that time, your body can't do both jobs at once. So here's a simple protocol. Choose a consistent 12-14 hour fasting window that ends by mid-morning. Eat your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. And when you do eat, focus on real whole foods that don't spike your blood sugar. You'll be giving your colon not just nutrients, but the time and space it needs to stay resilient. Fasting isn't about punishment. It's about creating rhythm, something your biology deeply understands. Your colon doesn't just process what you eat, it remembers your patterns. When those patterns include moments of pause, the self-cleaning begins, the protection activates, the healing accelerates. Subscribe if you're learning something new, because there's more natural healing wisdom to come. There's a natural substance your body makes every day that plays a quiet but powerful role in protecting your colon. Most people think of it as something that helps digest fats, but its benefits go far beyond that. I'm talking about bile. Bile is produced in your liver and stored in your gallbladder. When you eat a meal, especially one containing healthy fats, your gallbladder releases bile into the small intestine. Its primary job is to emulsify fats, breaking them down so your body can absorb fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin A, D, E, and K. But here's the part that gets overlooked. Bile also acts as an antimicrobial, an anti-inflammatory agent, and a detoxifier that directly influences the health of your colon. What's happening in your body is a chain reaction. When bile flows properly, it keeps your gut microbiome in balance by suppressing harmful bacteria. It helps regulate motility, the wave-like motion that keeps waste moving. It even helps eliminate excess estrogen and toxins, which, if left to accumulate, can contribute to inflammation and cancer risk in the colon. But here's the challenge. Bile flow often becomes sluggish with age. Factors like low-fat diets, chronic stress, liver congestion, and a history of gallbladder issues can impair this natural cleansing system. And when bile isn't flowing, the entire digestive tract, from your stomach to your colon, can become more vulnerable to stagnation, microbial overgrowth, and inflammation. Restoring bile flow is one of the most overlooked strategies for colon health. So how do you do it naturally? It starts with whole food fats. Despite years of outdated advice, fat is not the enemy. Processed fat is. But natural fats like olive oil, grass-fed butter, egg yolks, and fatty fish stimulate bile production and flow. When these fats are eaten alongside bitter greens like arugula, dandelion, mustard greens, or radicchio, you're supporting your liver's ability to produce bile and your gallbladder's ability to release it. And in fact, the bitter taste is a signal to your digestive system. When your taste buds detect bitterness, it activates a reflex that stimulates bile and enzyme production. That's why traditional cultures often included bitters in meals, whether through herbs, fermented vegetables, or tonics. Another way to support bile flow is through movement. Gentle physical activity, especially walking after meals, can encourage the release of bile and improve intestinal circulation. Sedentary habits, on the other hand, can lead to stagnation, where bile becomes thick and sluggish. This increases the risk of cholesterol stones, slow digestion, and toxic buildup in the colon. One simple protocol I often recommend is to begin your first meal of the day with a small bitter food, something like a few arugula leaves, a teaspoon of raw apple cider vinegar and water, or a small piece of grapefruit. Follow that with healthy fat and fiber. This primes your digestion and sets a cleansing tone for the rest of the day. You can also use supportive herbs like milk thistle, artichoke extract, or ginger to gently stimulate bile without overloading your system. These aren't quick fixes, but they work with your body's rhythms. Now, if you've had your gallbladder removed, bile is still being produced by your liver, but it's not stored and released in the same concentrated way. This makes the quality of your fat intake and the timing of your meals even more important. Smaller meals with balanced fat and fiber can help smooth digestion and prevent irritation in the lower bowel. The takeaway is this: bile is your colon's silent guardian. It helps detoxify, protect, and regulate, but it needs your support. When you nourish your liver, move your body, and eat the kinds of foods that signal proper bile flow, you activate one of the body's most natural cancer protective systems. If this part of the video gave you a new understanding of your body, leave a quick like. It lets us know we're on the right track, and it helps others discover this natural wisdom too. Your colon is made up of cells that divide and renew constantly. In fact, the cells lining your colon are among the fastest growing in your entire body. This rapid turnover is a gift. It means your body can heal damage quickly, but it also means that mistakes in cell replication, if not corrected, can accumulate. Over time, these small errors can lead to precancerous changes. So how does your body protect against that? One of the most elegant systems your body relies on is called methylation. Methylation is a process where your body adds tiny chemical tags called methyl groups to your DNA, proteins, and toxins. Think of it like a biological switchboard. Methylation turns on the genes that repair DNA. It turns off the genes that cause inflammation or uncontrolled growth. It's how your body decides when to clean, when to rebuild, and when to protect. It also helps detoxify harmful compounds like estrogen, metabolites, heavy metals, and other substances that could irritate the colon lining. But methylation doesn't run on autopilot. It needs raw materials, specific nutrients to function. And as we age, this process naturally slows down, especially if those nutrients are missing. Stress, poor sleep, alcohol, and certain medications can also drain your methylation capacity. The good news is that methylation can be supported safely, naturally, and powerfully through nutrition. What's happening in your body is a dynamic biochemical network. At the center of it is something called the methylation cycle, which relies on nutrients like folate, vitamin B12, B6, magnesium, zinc, and choline. These nutrients act like keys that unlock your body's repair and detox pathways. Without them, your system slows down. With them, it wakes up. Let's take folate for example. Not folic acid, which is synthetic, but natural folate found in dark leafy greens, liver, eggs, and avocado. Folate helps regulate gene expression in colon cells. When folate is deficient, your DNA repair slows down and abnormal cells can slip through undetected. Vitamin B12 works alongside folate in this process and is especially important for older adults who often absorb less B12 due to lower stomach acid. B12 is found in animal products like beef, eggs, and sardines, or in high-quality methylated supplements when needed. Choline, another key nutrient, supports the liver's detox function and helps maintain the integrity of your cell membranes. It's found in egg yolks, wild-caught fish, and pasture-raised meats. Without enough choline, fat metabolism and bile flow can also suffer, leading to a cascade of problems in the gut. Magnesium rounds out this picture beautifully. It's required in over 300 enzymatic reactions, including methylation, and it helps calm the nervous system, reduce inflammation, and improve motility, all critical for colon health. It's found in nuts, seeds, pumpkin, spinach, and even dark chocolate. Here's a simple protocol that brings this to life. Start your day with a meal that includes 2-3 methylation-friendly foods. For example, eggs with sautéed spinach and avocado, or a smoothie with almond milk, a scoop of greens, pumpkin seeds, and a dash of cacao. Add a magnesium-rich food with dinner like steamed Swiss chard or roasted pumpkin, and you're feeding the repair mechanisms that keep your DNA healthy and your colon lining strong. And don't overlook sleep. Methylation is most active during deep rest. If your sleep is fragmented or delayed, your repair systems lose rhythm. That's why all these systems, digestion, detoxification, repair, are interdependent. You can't just treat one organ. You have to support the whole. You don't need to fight your body, just understand it. When you support your methylation cycle through the right nutrients, you empower your colon to protect and renew itself in the way it was always designed to do. One of the most overlooked factors in colon health has nothing to do with food and everything to do with when and how you rest. Your colon is not just a passive digestive organ. It follows a circadian rhythm, an internal clock that synchronizes its activity to your daily light-dark cycle. That rhythm controls how your colon moves when it repairs, and even how your immune system behaves inside your gut wall. And the key player in regulating that rhythm is something many people are struggling with: sleep. What's happening in your body while you sleep is not passive, it's repair. Deep sleep activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode, which directs energy inward toward healing. In the colon, this includes restoring the mucosal barrier, producing anti-inflammatory compounds, clearing out damaged cells, and rebalancing your microbiome. It's one of the reasons why people who consistently sleep poorly have higher levels of gut inflammation, even if their diet seems clean. In fact, a study published in Gastroenterology found that disrupted sleep patterns can weaken gut immunity and increase intestinal permeability, commonly referred to as leaky gut. This makes the colon more vulnerable to chronic irritation and raises the risk of long-term cellular changes that may lead to disease. This is not just about comfort, it's about prevention. Here's something else that's fascinating. Your gut microbes also follow a circadian rhythm. Certain bacteria are more active during the day, others at night. When you stay up too late, eat late, or expose yourself to blue light after sundown, your internal timing gets confused, and so do your microbes. Their functions become less efficient. Their ability to help you produce butyrate, repair colonocytes, and control inflammation starts to decline. Over time, this subtle shift adds up, but the body can realign quickly. You can begin restoring your colon's nighttime healing cycle with a few natural adjustments. One of the most effective protocols is to establish a sleep window that begins around 9:30 or 10 p.m. This timing aligns with your body's natural melatonin surge and gives your colon the signal that it's safe to enter recovery mode. Avoid food at least 3 hours before bed. This reduces inflammation and allows for cellular renewal to begin during your first deep sleep cycle, which is when the most intense repair occurs. Next, dim your lights after sunset. Use warm amber tones in your home and avoid screens for at least 60-90 minutes before bed. This signals your pineal gland to begin melatonin production, which isn't just a sleep hormone, it's also an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory protector of your gut lining. In fact, melatonin is produced in the gut as well, not just the brain. Then support your body with key sleep-regulating nutrients, magnesium, glycine found in collagen-rich foods like bone broth, and naturally occurring tryptophan from sources like turkey or pumpkin seeds. These don't knock you out, they gently nudge your body toward its natural rest state, and that's exactly what you want. One final detail that matters: your sleep environment should be cool, dark, and quiet. Even small light exposure, like a nightlight or digital clock, can interfere with your melatonin rhythm. When your body senses complete darkness, it shifts into cellular repair mode, and your gut lining benefits directly. So remember, the colon doesn't just need fuel, it needs rest. True prevention doesn't come from working harder, but from aligning more intelligently with what your biology is already designed to do. And one of the most powerful forms of protection you can give your gut is 7 to 8 hours of truly restful, rhythmic, uninterrupted sleep. If this helps you see your body with more clarity and compassion, give this video a like. It helps others find this kind of empowering content. And stay with us, because in the final part of this teaching, we're going to explore the emotional side of colon health and how your mindset, nervous system, and emotions affect inflammation at a cellular level. We often separate physical health from emotional well-being, but your colon doesn't make that distinction. One of the most underestimated influences on colon health is your nervous system, specifically how your body processes stress. Every thought, emotion, and unresolved tension has a physical counterpart, and in your gut, this connection is immediate. What's happening in your body is a dynamic conversation between your brain, your gut, and your immune system. At the center of that conversation is the vagus nerve, a long wandering nerve that travels from your brainstem to your heart, lungs, and digestive organs. When the vagus nerve is active, your body enters a state of calm, digestion improves, inflammation lowers, repair begins. But when stress is chronic or even just subtly unrelenting, the opposite happens. The body shifts into sympathetic mode, fight or flight. In this state, blood flow is diverted away from the gut. Digestive secretions slow down. Gut motility becomes erratic. The immune system ramps up inflammatory compounds, and the gut lining becomes more permeable. Over time, this leaves the colon more vulnerable to microbial imbalance, cellular stress, and DNA damage. This is not abstract. Inflammatory bowel conditions, irregular bowel movements, and even increased cancer risk have been directly associated with chronic stress and poor vagal tone. But here's the empowering part. The vagus nerve can be trained, emotional states can be shifted, healing can happen when we understand how. One of the most reliable ways to activate your vagus nerve is through intentional breathing. Slow, diaphragmatic breathing, especially when the exhale is longer than the inhale, tells your brain that you're safe. That safety signal travels down the vagus nerve to your gut, allowing your colon to resume its healing functions. Just 5 minutes a day of slow breathing can begin to reset this pathway. Another tool is nature exposure. Even a short walk outside with your phone off and your senses open can lower cortisol and improve vagus nerve activity. Sunlight in the morning also helps reset your circadian rhythm, supporting both your mood and your digestive timing, and perhaps most importantly, allowing your emotions to move. Repressed grief, frustration, or anxiety doesn't disappear. It embeds itself in your physiology. Practices like journaling, talking with someone you trust, or gentle movement like qigong or restorative yoga can help that emotional energy flow, which your gut will feel immediately. Your colon is listening to more than just your food choices. It's responding to your environment, your pace, your self-talk, and the emotional signals your nervous system is constantly transmitting. This state of peace is not a luxury, it's a biochemical advantage. So here's a simple daily protocol. Take 2 breathing breaks. 1 in the morning, 1 before bed. Just 5 minutes, eyes closed, belly soft. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. If you want to add a phrase, try something gentle like, "I am safe in my body," then allow space for stillness. This small habit can begin rewiring your gut-brain connection in ways that no supplement ever could. We've talked a lot in this video about nutrients, fasting, fiber, and detox. But remember, none of those things can work if your nervous system is constantly in survival mode. You don't need to force your way into healing, you need to allow it. When you bring your emotional state into alignment with your biology, the results are profound. Inflammation lowers, digestion becomes smoother, and your colon begins to operate from a place of safety, not defense. If you're still here, it means something in you resonates with this deeper, more complete approach to healing. Go ahead and subscribe, because you're not just learning about colon health, you're learning how to live in your body in a way that invites restoration and resilience from the inside out. Here is the conclusion. So let's take a step back and connect the dots. Your colon isn't something you need to fear.
It's not just a passive tube or a digestive endpoint. It's a dynamic, intelligent, immune-rich environment that renews itself every few days. And like every part of your body, it's designed to heal if you give it what it needs. You've now seen how that healing isn't about a single nutrient or test. It's about patterns. It's about rhythm. The foods you eat, the time you eat them, the way you sleep, the thoughts you carry. These are the signals your body uses to decide, is it time to protect or time to defend? We began by looking at fiber, not just the generic kind, but fermentable soluble fiber that feeds your inner ecosystem. When that fiber is metabolized by your gut bacteria, it produces butyrate, a molecule that fuels your colon lining, calms inflammation, and helps silence cancer-promoting pathways before they ever take hold.
Then we explored intermittent fasting, not as a trend, but as a return to your body's natural rhythm. When you give your colon a rest from constant food intake, it begins to repair, autophagy kicks in, damaged cells are cleared, inflammation lowers, the gut resets. We saw how bile flow plays a cleansing, antimicrobial role, not just in fat digestion, but in detoxifying your lower intestine, and how whole food fats, bitter greens, and movement help restore this flow, especially as we age. Then we went deeper to the level of methylation, your body's way of regulating gene expression and detoxification. This biochemical dance depends on nutrients like folate, B12, choline, and magnesium. And when those nutrients are present regularly, rhythmically, you're giving your cells the tools they need to repair and protect. We talked about sleep, not just quantity, but timing. Your colon follows a circadian rhythm. Its peak repair happens while you rest. Disrupted sleep means disrupted immunity, but with darkness, calm, and melatonin-friendly habits, you restore that cycle of regeneration. And finally, we brought in the most human layer, your emotions, your nervous system, your capacity for peace. Chronic stress weakens the gut, but deep breathing, nature, and emotional openness rebuild your vagus nerve tone, and with it, your colon's resilience. This is what holistic prevention really looks like. It's not about waiting for a diagnosis. It's about daily alignment with the way your body already wants to function. So here's your gentle challenge for tonight. Make your dinner rich in fiber and healthy fat. Think sautéed greens and olive oil, a scoop of avocado, maybe some wild salmon or soft-cooked root veggies. Eat early, at least 3 hours before bed. Dim the lights, turn off the screens, and just before sleep, take 5 deep breaths, letting the exhale be longer than the inhale. Feel your belly soften. Your body knows this rhythm. It's been waiting for it. Then tomorrow, notice how your body responds, your digestion, your mood, your sleep quality. These are not separate, they're connected, and they're responsive. Your body listens when you change your rhythm, even slightly. If you found this helpful, let us know in the comments what will you try first. And don't forget to subscribe and join this journey of natural healing and healthy aging. Your body is ready. You just need to give it what it needs.